Good.
Oh yeah, I gotta say, got it. There we go.
Good. Uh, So, how's your belly roll and reverse breathing doing?
Well, I don't think Shelley knows anything about that yet. I mentioned it briefly to her. The reverse breathing, I've been using the 8 gates
Mm-hmm.
because I thought, okay, that gives my arms something to do instead of hang there and start aching.
Okay.
And I think that's doing pretty well. And I do more of the belly roll lying down, and sometimes it just rolls, and sometimes it goes, what? What are you thinking?
Yeah.
Perhaps that's a problem that I'm either thinking it too much or not thinking it enough.
Well, the belly roll is an external practice, so some thinking needs to be involved.
Yeah.
And its intention, of course, is simply to loosen up that area and make it possible to do the reverse breathing. So,
You
is
want to explain it to
Carol?
Shelley?
I'm sorry.
You want to explain it to Shelley?
Sure. Go ahead. Did you want to explain it? You said.
No, I don't want to explain it.
Okay.
Would you please explain it again?
I'd be delighted. So, uh, the belly roll is simply a, a practice to loosen up the abdominal muscles and make it possible to do um, reverse breathing, which is not what most of us, at least, thought of reverse breathing being when we first heard the words. Because I admit that many years ago, I always thought that, oh, reverse breathing, that means when you inhale, you pull the abdomen in, and when you exhale, you push the abdomen out. Well, that's part of it, but that's not all of it. And so the belly roll is really an important practice because it helps to loosen up that whole abdominal region, including up to the diaphragm. And what you're doing with the belly roll is actually you can as you contract the abdomen, you push the diaphragm out, and then as you push the abdomen out, you pull the diaphragm in, and you go back and forth between those, rolling back and forth. And this helps you really loosen up that area and become really clearly aware of that movement. Did that seem clear, Carol?
Yeah.
Yes. That sounded like a question or a comment.
Yeah, yes, it's clear what the intended is, and as I play with it right now, I seem to be doing it pretty well.
Yeah.
But there are other times when I try to do it, and it's like it just it gets mechanical, and especially the diaphragm, the upper part.
Mm-hmm.
doesn't know what to do. I mean, bringing the lower dantian in, I do that all the
Hmm.
time.
Yeah.
But
Well,
this,
one thing I would say is to not overdo the movement.
mhm,
It can be quite small,
mhm,
certainly to begin with, um, and it's like anything else in our practice. When it's new, um, we're awkward and don't quite get all of it to move freely and easily. But the more we practice it,
yeah.
it, it becomes easier. Um, so it may take a little while before the um, and it doesn't you don't have to do the belly roll forever, although sometimes it's helpful if you're feeling that your abdomen is stiff or not moving freely. um, but it's not meant to be something that you have to do forever, but it's something at this stage it's good to do quite a bit of because it really helps you to loosen up all of those muscles and get everything so that you can control them um, as we go into the reverse breathing. Other questions there just on that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So simple now.
Yeah, well, that's good.
I do it sometimes. It's because it's not an actual practice. I do it like driving sometimes
Sure.
Yeah.
and remembering Master Joe, abdomen in, abdo out.
Yep. um, and actually, when I think back now, I realize that he was not talking. He didn't mean just that.
Yeah.
Um, he didn't unfortunately explain everything as clearly as I would like, so that I clearly understood. And some of it has taken me a long time to understand. Um, but when we go to the reverse breathing, we really are working um, to move the diaphragm and the lower dantian area together. So they function first. One part of it is they move into the center and then they expand out. And part of one of the main things of this is to begin to really move the organs and to move them back towards the spine. So ultimately, that movement of the diaphragm and the abdomen, you want to be one that comes in and pushes into the spine and then releases out. And um, you just have to go slowly at it. It's really that's really important to not. You don't want to tighten everything up. That's not going to do what we want to do in terms of moving energy. Um, so it has to be a pretty gentle movement to begin with, and continue to be gentle so that you don't get into tensing everything up. And it is eventually a movement, that's going in and out, both parts moving, which is part of why doing the belly roll and getting all of those muscles to be loosened up is really important. So when you do the reverse breathing, you're really only initially just feeling those two come into each other and expand out. So you inhale in and expand out, and part of that is also moving energy up and down the left and right channels, um, as well as focusing on the organs. Ultimately, this also begins to release the nerves, um, which is another reason why you don't want this to be a tense, hard movement, because you're really looking to include the release of the nerves in this as well. Nothing to it, right?
Right.
Um, so questions?
Is there a, as I do it, it feels almost like there's a roll to it. So it's not just in, there's a wave, is that?
Yes, absolutely. So you don't want it, certainly don't want it to be out, in, out. You're absolutely right. There is an in and an out. I mean, it has the same circularity, if you will, that we're looking for in everything else we're doing.
Mhm.
Absolutely. No, that's a very good awareness. And actually, I think I found it easier when I realized that than when I was just thinking of in and out. um, and I do think working on it in the eight gates is good because um, it's a simpler movement than trying um, to do it really even in gods. Even though in gods we're repeating movements just as we do in the eight gates, but um, the eight gates gives you an opportunity to do it with the arms functioning in a variety of planes of movement. So, um, do you want to try it in that? I can. I will do it with you.
Yeah, Shelley's adjusting, so, you
Okay. So stepping out and coming into your base level structure, feeling your connection to the earth and the structure of your body. And to begin with, just doing our normal abdominal breathing for a minute. And letting that be full and easy and smooth. And it will help if you really extend your mind through your body so you really can feel what's happening. And then just doing a little bit of the belly roll, just to help loosen things up. So as the abdomen goes in, the diaphragm goes out. And as the diaphragm goes back in, the belly goes out. And so just not forcing it, not trying to make it big or tense or tight, but just seeing if you can get that nice relaxed flowing movement. And then without moving for a moment, see if you can begin to do at least a little bit of the reverse breathing. So as you inhale, the abdomen and the diaphragm move towards each other. As you exhale, they move apart. And you want to try to feel what happens to your internal organs as you do that. Feel the organs move back towards your spine as you inhale, and move forward as you exhale. And then, as you go into the 8 gates, coordinating the breathing with your movement. So inhaling and exhaling. And inhaling, moving towards each other. Exhaling, moving apart. Try to keep it soft. Don't let it become hard. Inhale, drawing in. Exhale, pushing out. Sense that as you inhale, the organs move back towards the spine and then release forward. Energy moves up your side channels and down. I'm very aware that you want this to stay relaxed, to release, to allow the nerves to release if they can. towards each other and moving apart. Moving toward, moving apart. Very aware of keeping the qua relaxed and open. That it's where the movement is being directed from at the moment. Drawing in, moving out. Try to allow it to stay relaxed. Massaging the organs. And closing.
Yeah, it's food. Food is glass.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, how was that? What questions came up, if any?
It was good to do it with a simple movement. Um, I'm not sure I feel the organs.
Um,
I think the thing is,
I didn't quite get that.
She said it was good to do it with a simple movement.
Ah,
Sure, she feels the organs, which I mean,
ah.
I thought I was kind of focusing a little bit on organs and thinking, okay, liver's going over that side, and look at the spleen over there. I don't pay any attention to that.
Important to pay attention to that. Good.
And so that I started trying to just be, I don't know that I'm aware, but in terms of being able to feel them moving, but just kind of paying attention to them.
Uh-huh. Well,
really,
that's good. Um, I remember at one point Bruce talking about the fact that the organs are, all attached to the spine ultimately, and that doing this particular practice um, often will relieve or improve back pain. Um, so that's kind of another possible benefit out of this, if you have that.
I'm stiff in the morning.
Oh yeah, well,
Yeah, lower back stiff, and okay, I need to bend down and empty the dishwasher. How am I gonna juggle that one?
well, I'm always stiff in the morning, and I'm stiff even after I sit for very long.
Yeah.
So I am always stretching and working out. Um, so I think what I'm saying is I think you could probably depend on that getting worse
Over time, yes, no.
over time. uh, Although I don't think I actually feel my age, but it certainly is different than when I was 65 or 70. Um, any other questions at all about that at the moment?
I don't think so.
Okay, so we're not going to work on the second version of reverse breathing, but I'm going to just give you a short little talk here about it so that you at least have heard this. Um, but because it takes a significant amount of time for most of us to feel comfortable with um, doing reverse breathing the way we're working on it, um, you don't want to even try the second type until that really is comfortable. So um, as you know, the first type is what we're working on at the moment, and it's definitely the best way to start. If you want to start using reverse breathing for a lot of high performance physical stuff, the second one is significantly better. But the first one is easier. The second one is going to be harder to do. And when the second one is used, more is a what did I say here? When the second one is used more, when the second one is used more, is essentially when you're doing practices to activate the brain. It's done especially for that reason. It's also done in martial arts a lot because it joins your arms and your legs. When you have the ball moving up, it helps you to have the whole body movement, because the bending and stretching of your arms and your legs is directly connected to the breath. And the breath is actually causing your arms and your legs to move in a very coordinated fashion. So rather than having a focus on just coordinating your body, all you really have to get is how to coordinate your breath inside your body, and you will move more or less in the coordinated way that you want to. Now, it's easier to start with the first type of reverse breathing and get it together in the abdominal cavity, and not to engage the arms and legs in particular. Just as it's generally easier in what they called the micro and macrocosmic orbit techniques to get the microcosmic orbit together and then to work on the macrocosmic, because there is more you have to deal with, and that requires a greater level of skill. So you want to build your practice in stages. And so let's say that you think of my shirt is my spine. And the area in front is my internal organs, and my skin is out here. And what you want to do when you start to do is to take all your internal organs right back to your tailbone, right back to your sacrum, and actually right back into your lower dantian. You then take them there and pull them up until they get up to the diaphragm. And then you pull them back down, and then you pop them out so that you refill your belly again. So the diaphragm has a ball in its normal state, and it's going to have a ball down below. And what you're going to do is to take that lower ball and pop out. And second, you have to bring it in along the spine and up. And then you have to make it go out. And then you have to bring it into the spine and bring it down. And then from the spine, pop it out again, which releases your internal organs. So how you tell if you are doing this too strongly is very simple. If you feel any excess pressure building up in your diaphragm, when you're doing it, you have to back off. So of course, this has to be built up in stages. So you want to, at this point, just stick with the first method, because the
Yes.
second one gets very complex.
Yeah. Yes, as I was listening, I was thinking, I'm glad we're not going to try this right now.
Yeah, right.
I'm not sure I know what he's talking about.
So we'll just let go of that.
Yeah.
Maybe at some time down the road we can look at it, but if you can get this first one, it works. It is easier and it works very well. So, any particular questions in Gods itself?
I'm not coming up with anything.
Okay. You didn't have to. I just was
Yeah.
throwing it out there. Um, so, oh, I know. The other thing I was going to say, by the way, is to be aware that in doing this, the first version of reverse breathing, how it ties into doing the bend the bow and shoot the arrow. Because as you bring the diaphragm and the abdomen together, you're creating the bend in the spine, and as you bring them apart, you're straightening the spine. So it's kind of neat because the two really work together, and you can begin to feel that perhaps. Just another thought. um, so I was going to suggest that we go through, at the moment, just the first paragraph of the form and do it without any arms. Ah.
Use your imagination there.
So I think, this is a really important practice, and we, I have used it from time to time, but um, I certainly have not um, brought it into this recently. And so one of the things, of course, to be what?
I figured you were fun.
You're right.
You're back.
I'm sorry.
Shelley's moving back and I'm moving forward to the front.
Oh, okay.
Of course, probably you can see me better the other way around.
Maybe, yeah. That, whatever.
Because you get to see a little bit more of me there.
I leave the room.
Um, so remembering, of course, that the legs move 10 times as much energy as the arms, and we have a terrible tendency to get focused on our arms. Um, so we're going to try to really let our arms be as completely relaxed as possible, and to be aware of the movement of the legs and the spine um, as we go through that. And um, I'll do it with you and talk you through it. Um, I'm sure you could do it on your own, but
It might be amusing.
it might be amusing.
The time we did the right hand, the left hand only,
Yeah.
it was amusing.
So,
Okay.
so let yourself land. Breathe. And while allowing the arms to be completely relaxed, we still want to be aware of opening and closing. And at the moment, we're not moving the arms. So we're just feeling that throughout the entire body and legs. Then begin Tai Chi. So spiraling down into the right, stepping left, Peng, Ji, Lu, on, and turning, stepping right, Peng, Ji, Lu, on, stepping back, shift and rotate, going into single whip, expanding out, reset, single whip, shift on to the left, touch and step back, and pull down, rotate and embrace, shift on to the left and rotate in, step to the corner, shoulder, white goose spreads its wings, follow, focus, stepping around, turning, and follow and focus, and play peepaw. And draw in, step back, knee, roll the ball, follow, and focus. Play peepaw, step, forget the name of that one, turn, step, you onto it, step to the side, rotate and shift to punch, forward and back, and step, and follow, and focus. That's fun. How'd that go?
I'm better than I expected.
Any places that you realized you had a question?
Um, it was not having the arms to do the, what is it?
Yeah.
Um, I think I probably made it. I'm not sure if I made it simple or not. I got foggy in there.
Uh-huh.
I'm unclear of what was going on.
One of the things you can do um, after you've gone through like that is to go back and do that section with the arms and then do it without again.
Yeah.
Um, because believe me, I've been through that process. Um, you sometimes your mind just doesn't compute when the arms aren't there after you've been used to doing it, and you just have to remind yourself.
Yeah, and that's such an arm milestone. It's a
It's an unusual position.
so that yeah, so that it's easy to make the arms more important.
Yeah. Well, of course, that's what practicing without the legs is, without the arms is all about,
Yeah.
is being aware that they're not everything. They
No.
are important. They are a part of the whole movement, but um, it can be done without.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, and even at the very beginning, it's it's clearer when you're just with the legs. Oh yeah, there's this, and then there's this, and then there's a little this, and then there's a little this, and then there's a little this,
yeah, right,
and it points out all all the facets of those four postures.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I think, that's part of the reason for doing a practice like that is it really clarifies um, what's going on in another way,
Yeah.
and it's um, which is why I'm suggesting in more than one class to try that, to work with that and see if it doesn't either cause the recognition of questions or clarify some things.
Yeah, I've been practicing with the in out,
Uh huh.
and that helps
Yes.
too, especially again, those first four postures.
Yep.
There's so much inning and outing going on.
Yeah. Good. Well, of course, you can take it further than just the first paragraph, but um, sometimes when you drop out the arms, you don't want to take it too long at first because it gets difficult to stay focused. So just work on it in whatever is appropriate.
Mhm. Yeah, and getting into the second paragraph with some of the kicks.
Mm.
I kind of need those arms and then the balance.
So that's when you want to try to work on extending your energy in those directions, not just being dependent on the arms.
Yeah.
Easier said than done,
Mhm.
but indeed possible.
That's that's possibly a little more sinking than yeah.
Ah, might be helpful. Good. So that's really all I have at the moment.
It is enough.
It's enough. Okay.
Plenty.
Yeah, it gives you some things to work on. And you can, of course, think about taking the reverse breathing into the form, but it's not a requirement at the moment. But eventually.
Yeah, there's I do some of that anyway, but that's not focused on doing. So
Yeah.
doing it with in and out, that okay, there's a
Yeah.
makes it easier to let the to kind of put some breathing associated with those ins and outs. But on the other hand, I don't want to be gasping.
No, it doesn't. That's where, to some extent, Master Joe's breathing without breathing comes in. Because sometimes your breath just continues, but the energy does its movements. So you're absolutely right. Particularly the way G works there, you don't want to do as your breath there. That would be ridiculous.
Oh, two in and out.
So um, it's more important that the breath be continuous and connected than that it be aligned with the movement.
Makes me think of one of the workshops that David Chandler did at World Tai Chi Day years ago with a walk with a
Yeah.
two inhales to an exhale. Um, as a breathing exercise, just when you're actually just plain old walking.
Yeah.
Uh
And sometimes that makes walking easier.
huh. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Good. Well, practice, practice, practice.
Uh, this week, yes. Next week, maybe not.
What's happening next week?
My Canadians are arriving a week from today
Oh,
for 2 weeks.
for 2 weeks.
Yes,
Woo,
really
okay.
close to 2 weeks. They'll be coming on Monday and leaving on a Friday, so
Wow.
following week. So,
Oh, well,
so
have a,
I will probably not make it to Nagong
yeah.
because that's,
Well, have a great time with your Canadians. That's great. I'm glad they're coming to visit.
me too.
I sympathize with that because ours are all in California, and it feels like we don't see them enough.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. At least you guys can go there occasionally. Um,
Yeah,
John isn't terribly mobile.
yeah, well, we get less mobile as time goes on.
Yes, I know.
Unfortunately.
Well, he's getting trigger point injections in his back to see if they can help with his back pain.
Ah,
So that might help.
Yeah.
If his back isn't hurting, he could play his bowls, but
yeah, yeah.
um, that doesn't help with his knees.
Well, you take what you can get.
But
I hope that helps him.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah, that'd be great. Anything new in your life, Shelley?
no,
No.
I still have ALS.
Yes. Well, that's
Can't go and turn
that's
it
more
on.
than enough. Well,
Is
take care.
the collar to
I have it now.
uh, to keep your head up?
Yeah.
Well, take care, guys, and
You
Thank you.
too.
thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
I will. You have the best day you can.
I will.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Hmm.